Hey everyone, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. What a great show we had last night recording for podcast episode number 15, sticking to just item 53. Now, I apologize to my co-hosts because I had thought that we were going to keep the podcast to under 50 minutes, under 60 minutes. I really need to do that. I really need to get better at that. I think we went about 140. We went about over 90 minutes, 1 hour 45 minutes, I believe. So do apologize for that too, keeping everybody up late. It was our only chance that I would have for a while to record that podcast. So because we do want to try to make sure that we get a new podcast out on the first of every month. I want to thank all of the co-hosts that were able to join last night. And when I was going through some of the notes, obviously we were looking at item 53, episode number 15 of the Gray Stage podcast. And it's really only about 2 pages long, so I figured there wouldn't be that much. And then I started going through the BCA lab report. It's about 40 pages long, and just seeing if I missed anything, seeing what I could find on item 53, and that really opened up a can of worms. So I think if we wouldn't have covered the BCA document, probably could have kept it under 1 hour. So we'll see. Maybe I'll break it up into 2 shows. I'm not entirely sure yet, but I will be editing that show down a little bit later on and hope to have that up this evening. But a lot of things came up regarding the white substance on item 53. What's interesting is there was a white substance found on 3 bullets. The one was item 45, which is the bullet that lodged itself into the basement. There was white material found on that one. There was white material found on item 57, which is the one that police will find 1 month later, and that will be in the attic above the living room. So those kind of make sense, but we were wondering where did this white substance come from that was on item 53. So if anybody has any thoughts on that, your guess is as good as mine, but I'd love to hear some views about what that could possibly be, how because item 53 didn't go through any walls or anything like that. It rolled out of a carpet. This was another bullet that was not found when police left the crime scene. The first crime scene, I guess. I don't know. You could say either there's 3 different crime scenes, or you have, 2 times where they returned to the original crime scene. So whatever we want to say that is, we know that they found item 53 on January 20th, and they found the bodies January 17th, and then they'll find item 57, they'll find that on February 18th. So that's the chain of events. Because I wanted to kind of stick to item 53, it's kind of out of order, meaning the suspicious activity chapter. Item 53 is mentioned a couple of pages in. So for episode number 16, we'll definitely be going back, taking a little bit of a backtrack for the next show, which will focus on item 57. May have to break that down into 2 shows as well. I'm probably going to run the timer on the next one just so I kind of know, because time flies, basically, especially when we're talking about this stuff. But looking through the BCA 40-page document, I was able to find a lot of stuff that, I kind of was like, why didn't I put this in the book? Why didn't I put that in the book? And I think it's because, some of the things needed to be put in without my commentary. So the white substance, the hairs/fibers that were found on item 53 are in there, but that's pretty much it. There's no reasoning. So we talk about that stuff, and that's what I love about this podcast, is we're able to take a few paragraphs from my book and actually expand on it, and discuss it more. So, but I would love to hear anybody's thoughts about anything related to the podcast once you hear it. And specifically about item 53 and what that white substance could have been. Obviously, it would have had. I mean, it would make sense if it was drywall, but again, this bullet did not go through any walls. On the diagrams, if you've ever seen the diagrams that show the 57, item 1, item 2, show all of these items where they found, I noticed item 53 is not on there. So that kind of piqued my interest and my curiosity. I was like, okay, well, item 53 isn't there. Even in those 40 pages, item 53 is not mentioned very much. And that's kind of bothersome because item 53 is a big deal. It's one of the items that has missing DNA or unknown DNA, an unknown DNA source or sources on it, similar to the notepad found in David's office bedroom. So we talk about all of that stuff. So I'd be curious to hear everybody's thoughts, what your views are on that as well. So I look forward to it. I look forward to the feedback. As always, 15 shows in now, and I feel like we're really finding our groove with this podcast. We're getting our groove back. But it was nice to have everybody up. Dan joined us, obviously. Catherine joined us, and Sophia joined us. Anne is back. She joined us as well. And Steven Sanziri also joined us. So it was a great roundtable of people that we had there. That's another reason why it can go a little long. It didn't really feel long. We even stayed after the recording and kind of chatted about different things too. So all in all, I would say it was a really interesting podcast. So glad everybody was there. Glad everybody could join us for so late. I like the afternoon better. I feel like I'm more there and not as tired, obviously, after a full day's work and everything. So, but it was definitely worth it. I'm glad that we got to record the podcast, and I do hope to have that up today. So be looking for that. Looking forward to it. Looking forward to your feedback. I just wanted to share those thoughts with you. The Gray Stage podcast, or the Gray Stage YouTube channel, please make sure that you check that out, and if you can subscribe to it, that would be great. There's also a secondary channel, the David Crowley Questions YouTube channel that we have too. So I'll try to add some more content to that channel as well, just for the research. I try to put the most important things on that channel. It's kind of like another backup channel as well. Nothing wrong with backups. So, but I was very disturbed about how little item 53 is actually mentioned in any of these documents. There's like a note section in the BCA 40-page report, and in the note section, they mentioned that they were at the house January 17th. They left on January 18th. They mentioned 2/18, so they mentioned the day that they had to come back for item 57, but they completely skip over item 53. And I'm not sure why. Why is it not in those diagrams either? It should be in one of the diagrams where they found item 53. Maybe it's in the notes, the handwritten drawing diagrams. We'll have to go back and check that out. But the 40-pager has an 11-page report by Joe Cooksley. Item 53 is not really mentioned there. It should be. It really should be. Item 57 is not really mentioned there either. But it looks like they went back and kind of added some of the stuff about item 57. I don't understand why they didn't add some of the stuff about item 53. The weight of item 53 is also another thing. It's about 169 grams. So, but if it can only be a max of 180 grams, it just, the other bullets don't have any white substance on them. They all went through people. It's also interesting about item 53 is that there was only blood found on one area. So again, it's like, well, how do you get two DNAs two DNA sources or more, including Rania, in one area. It's very important to note that there is no indication that when this bullet rolled out of the carpet for these cleaners, there's no indication that the cleaners picked up the bullet or anything like that. So it's thinking, well, maybe it was their DNA. It's also not clear if when it says two or more DNA profiles, if it's blood or if it's how did they get that DNA? I'm assuming it can't be blood. I mean, that would just be odd, because we know that item 53 did not have David's or Kamel's blood or DNA on it. So the missing DNA profile, like Sophia, I think she had brought that up last night, is that we don't know if that's blood or if it's just a nuclear DNA source. So that's what we'll have to look into next. So a lot of different things to look into, but just wanted to kind of throw that out there. Thank everybody. If you ever need any documents, you can go to thegraystage.wordpress.com and you will find all of those documents, whatever documents that you need. You will also find the photos and my book. If you want to download my book free, please do. I think it's a really good starting point. And join the Facebook group that we have. We're almost at 4,000 members. Justice for David Crowley and Family, the only Facebook group that is talking about this case that really matters. The only one that is looking into this case, not just slandering people. So that's always a good thing. But I mean, we are the only group that is trying to get justice for this family, that is trying to find, trying to let people know what the facts are about this case. The facts are all in these documents. You can clearly see that. So all you got to do is look. It's all right there. So I think that's about all I wanted to kind of cover. Just some of the weird, just the weird things with item 53 that kind of bothered me. And I don't know. And we have maybe 5 or 6 photos of item 53 where it landed when it rolled out of that carpet. So the cleaners are moving the carpet. They're picking the carpet up. It's already rolled up. They're picking it up, and this bullet rolls out and lands on the same wall where the blood writing is. So pretty interesting how they could miss that, first of all. What they found on it, and they needed to find item 53. They needed to find a bullet that had Rania's DNA on it, because none of the other bullets that they found when they left that crime scene, none of those bullets had Rania's DNA on it. None of the bullets had David's DNA on it either. So very interesting there. Very interesting stuff. So that's kind of it, trying to figure out, okay, where would the bullet had to have been for them to miss it, what side of the carpet, front side, back side. But that white substance, I think, is really one that stands out, really stood out to, I think, everybody on the show last night, for good reason. Next month, what month are we in? This will be April, so you'll be listening and watching the podcast. The audio version will be out later today. The video version might take a few days. I want to add a few things into the video version, but it was a really good show, and we'll just keep marching forward, just to let everybody know what the facts are, what the documents say, and you're gonna have to make up your own mind about what you think, and that's your choice. So God bless you all. Until next month, where are we in? April, May. So May 1st, we'll come back with item 57. Most likely that will be a 2-part show, and we'll discuss everything we know about item 57. I don't know if we can get that into one show, but I will try to keep that one down to 60 minutes. I want to keep all of these down to under 60 minutes if possible. And like I said, we probably could have if I wouldn't have gone through the BCA documents and put that stuff in there. Probably would have been able to keep it under 60 minutes. So until next time, you know where to find the podcast. You can find it on our anchor.fm. You can find it on pretty much anywhere you get your podcast from. So please check that out. God bless you all, and until next time.